All right, on today's episode of Python Papi, we're back inside our smart contracts project. Let's have a look at what we're going to be going over today. And we're all getting towards the end of this reference type module, so we're going to do some light reading, and then I'm going to show you exactly what our final contract looks like, the one that we actually deployed. So the next step we will take is to add the list of people variable to our add person function with the self.index. This will look like this: self.index of people, self.index, which we will set to equal new person. We may notice that this is exactly how we did it for our list of numbers, and again, I'll show you that when we open up the contract. At this point, we can compile our contract and see what results we get. In this next section, we'll be going over the concept of hash map and mappings. So now we have a way to add people to our list, and we have a way to look them up. So we can go ahead and start making our contract more dynamic. To start, we want to find a way to get a person's favorite number without having to know their index position. We want to be able to get the information just by looking up the person's name. So for example, I want to just be able to put in the name Papi, and I should be able to get the favorite number instead of having to put in my actual index position inside of the list. So this is where the hash map and mappings come into play. The mappings are powerful because they allow us to do exactly what we're trying to do. To start this process, we're going to go back to our smart contract and create one more stored variable for us to do this. Now this is the stored variable that we're going to create to add to our contract. It's going to be named to favorite number. And this is going to be a type hash map with a string set to 100, fixed size list, and a uint 256. And we'll be able to also make this public. Now this will end up looking like this: name to favorite number, public hash map, string 100, type uint 256. And what this hash map keyword is going to do for us is going to take in a string and now put an integer. Now notice that we have a hash map here. It's going to take in two types. It's taking in a string and an integer of 256. And I'm sure we didn't go over it previously because I was saving it for now. So that's what the hash map allows us to do. It allows us to actually work with multiple types at once. So we don't have to do either the string or the integers. We can do both. So that's why you can see here we have hash map string with a fixed list of 100, and we have a type uint 256. So that's letting us work with the strings and integers. And that's going to allow us to convert, like down here you can see here. What this hash map keyword will do for us is take in a string and output an integer. So it's going to take in a string, example a name, is going to output an integer, example a favorite number. So let's go over here to the favorites.vy file so we can look at the contract. So I can show you exactly what that looks like, how we implement it inside of our contract. If I can get my mouse acting the way it's supposed to act. So we're going to go over here. So you can see everything. Let me scroll it up just a bit so we can start from the top. You can see we have our strut like I showed you yesterday, our favorite number, our name. Then we have my name, my favorite number. Then we have a list of numbers, list of people. Then we have the index, and then we have add. Then you can see here we have add to favorite number. This is actually going to have the hash map. As you can see, it's public hash map, string 100, and it's going to be uint 256. Now you notice that this hash map is taking two types. It's taking a string type and it's taking an integer type. Like I said, that's the power of the hash maps. So the hash maps are sort of like dictionaries with a key value pair, where it's going to have a key and it's going to have a value. So in this concept here, I'm assuming, I'm not going to assume that's exactly what it is. This is how we set it up. The string is going to be the key and the integer is going to be value. So when we enter in the key, which will be the name, it'll give us back the value, which will be the actual favorite number of that person's name. So yeah, so that's what we did so far. And you can see we have our deploy here. You know what the deploy is for our constructor. That's our constructor. Move down a little bit more. Then we have our store function. I showed you how the store function works. We're going to store a new number, and that's going to actually be the new number that's going to take over from the 7. So it's hard coded to be 7, but we enter in a new favorite number. It's actually going to override that number and store whatever that new number is we added. Then we have the retrieve function here. That's how we actually going to retrieve the information without having to spend any gas money and not be treated as a transaction. We're just going to be able to view it. Then we have our add person function here. As you can see, I explained this yesterday, the add person function, everything that this does. So now you can see a little bit more in depth of what it does. You can see a little bit more of its capabilities. We have the list of numbers, self.index equals favorite number. Then we have the new person that's going to be coming from the strut person. And that strut person has the information from the person's favorite number and their name. Then you can see here this list of people. So you can see here with the list of people is going to be self.index equals to new person. Then we have the self.name to favorite number. This is the part I didn't explain to you yesterday. So with the name to favorite number, this is how we're going to enter the person's name. You can see it's indexed here to name. We're going to get that name from our strut because you know the strut has the person's name. But what we do here is we convert this using a hash map because we put the inside of a hash map. Let me go back up and show you really quickly. So you can see here, this is the name. The name is going to be a string, obviously. What we're going to do is we're going to convert that name into an integer. So that's what the hash map allows us to do. So it's opposed to having an index into the actual list of people to get the person's name and favorite number all at once. We can actually just put in their name and get back the favorite number. And that's what this self right here allows us to do. The self dot name to favorite number, index into name equals favorite number. So we're going to take the person's name, enter it in, and it's going to return to us their favorite number. And of course, you know what the self dot index equals self dot index one is. We're going to start our index at 0, and then we're going to add on every time we add into one of these positions. We're going to move to the next position until we fill up the entire list. So basically, that's our entire contract. And again, I know it probably doesn't make much sense hearing about it and just seeing me read over it. So tomorrow, we're actually going to put it inside of our Remix IDE, and I'm going to start compiling it and deploying it for you, so I can actually walk you through this contract and see what it looks like. And then after that, I'm going to actually show you how the transactions look on the actual the website. And you can see that we actually did deploy to our MetaMask, and I did have a website already pulled up that I can show you all the transactions that went through in real time and everything that's happening behind the scenes. But of course, I will keep you posted every step of the way. For now, this is the Python Papi. You guys stay Gucci.